So yeah, we've been on record talking about how we think that agentic commerce is really incremental, like it's an additional channel, not a replacement. And I think that comes back to a few sort of key concepts. One, traditional search has been fragmenting for years. So it's already a trend that was happening where people were going to Reddit to search for answers from peer-to-peer conversations, doing product search on Amazon or other retail sites. So this has already been happening. And then it's the killer use case for these platforms, right? They're incredibly good at answering complex questions that traditional search is just not a good fit for. And so it's really incremental and serving an unmet need. And here's a great statistic for you that I think sort of underpins it. Criteo did a survey just in the last couple of months of a bunch of US consumers, and 40% of them are using some kind of AI assistant to help with their holiday shopping. But 96% of those same consumers were also using traditional search, social, retail, et cetera, for those same customer journeys. And so just the math sort of proves that that's an incremental addition to how people shop and think about solving the problems and transactions that they need in their lives.
Well, Michael, let's stay with this idea of discovery and how search and commerce have really been reinventing each other. As discovery spreads across more surfaces, how should brands think about being findable in agentic journeys? What role does commerce data play there?
Yeah. So I think that's the first thing is that they need to understand that they need to be findable or discoverable, and that sort of is becoming a more fragmented ecosystem in and of itself, right? It used to be traditional search. You could put your money into an AdWords campaign and you were guaranteed to show up where 95% of that activity took place. It's going to become much more distributed in the future. There will be sort of agentic, prompt-based discovery points all over the place, not just the big platforms, but in retail or other sort of digital consumer touch points that pop up. And it all will come back to data. So you have to have high quality metadata about your products, the imagery, is it up to date in terms of in-stock availability? Is the pricing information correct? Is the geography, like availability location correct? And all that requires like real-time feeds, and there needs to be a high quality, hosting of that. So it will come down to data quality that feeds that sort of fragmented ecosystem, and that's how that will work.
We're all thinking about the ways that democratization and the level playing field have really been a key theme of the AI transformation we're seeing. I'm thinking of particularly retailer-owned assistants, which have been gaining traction for a while. Everyone seems to have one now. So with that in mind, what do you think will separate the retailers who truly modernize their front ends from those that fall behind?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think that one sort of comes back to the premise of consumers will expect best-in-class experiences no matter where they are. So if your best-in-class experience is ChatGPT because you like the intuitive, prompt-based, discussion-based nature of it, you're going to expect that on retailer.com or even banking.com or any other place that you spend time. And so I think the retailers that'll succeed are the ones that embrace that as sort of the core proposition and make that sort of chat experience tightly coupled with merchandising, with loyalty, with checkout, fulfillment, and customer service, and really like make that central. It is really no different than essentially reinventing that personal shopper that meets you in a great live physical experience. They need to have that mindset, I think, and make it sort of the core digital version of that to serve the shopping experience.
The chat experience to that shopping experience has been so fascinating. There is a debate, though, about how LLM platforms will monetize at scale. Why do you believe advertising will ultimately become the dominant model in agentic environments?
Sure. The simplest answer is that it's the only one that'll be big enough to create the revenue models that are required. If you just sort of do the math, lower margin models like say affiliate, where you might have a 5% take rate, you'd have to do 2 trillion of something, GMV, to generate a $100 billion business. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. And it's not really suitable either is the other thing. Like that type of model is just share shifting profit, and it's not growing the overall category. And so advertising, when done right, grows the whole category, allows brands to buy their way into situations where they are relevant and where their products provide utility to customers. And that sort of commerce flywheel is what grows the overall category. And ultimately, that's going to be good for LLM platforms and the ecosystem that they cultivate around themselves. So advertising, I think, sometimes is poorly understood in that regard. And it is a flywheel to growth when done properly, not something that's imposed on people as a tax on their experience.
So, Michael, given all that's changing, all the upheaval surrounding agentic commerce, where do you see Criteo playing the most critical role in enabling brands to be discovered, findable, as you said, and drive outcomes in these new environments?
Yeah, so we are very focused on developing the commerce intelligence layer that essentially surfaces that high quality data that enables discoverability. I mean, that's probably the simplest way to say it. And the way we think about that is it sits alongside the other channels that we drive performance in, right? We're very focused on cross-channel performance, and that sort of discoverability in Agentic will be one of several that our sort of product suite is built around. But it's an exciting space. I think it's going to take off like at scale in 26, at least in terms of consumer adoption. Right, back to the 40% stat at the beginning here. That stat will be much, much higher when we meet a year from now. And hopefully Criteo is powering that discoverability for our merchants at scale with it.